Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Naomi, and today I want to show you a really simple way that you can build more strength in your hips. So yes, your hips do need strength, so we often think of the idea of opening our hips or stretching them, but your hips actually need even more stability and strength, and this really simple exercise is going to show you how. And all you need is a block. You don't need weights, you don't need a kettlebell, you don't need, like anything fancy, just a yoga block, okay? So let's get started. You're gonna come to lie on your back, and I'm actually gonna turn so that my head is facing you because you're gonna have a better view, and you might wanna watch it first before doing it so that it makes sense. But you're gonna take the block and you're gonna start on the most narrow, okay? The most narrow width of your block. The inside edges of your feet are holding onto the block, okay? So ankles and big toes. And you wanna make sure that you're holding on to the part of the block closest to you. Then, turn your knees out to the sides so that the soles of your feet are holding the block, okay? And then bring your knees back toward one another, still holding the block, okay? And then take your knees out to the sides again and bring your knees back toward one another again. Take your knees out to the side and bring your knees back together. So they're not actually ever going to touch, you're just bringing them towards one another. Bring your knees out. And then bring them back in, and you could conceivably bring them into touch too. That's going to build a different kind of strength. Bring them out, bring them in, and one more time, bring them out. Your feet are going to lower, the block is going to lower, that's natural. Bring them in, maybe even get your knees to touch, and then grab the block and put your feet down and take a rest. So it's a lot of strengthening for your inner thighs, your adductor muscles. Okay, it's a lot of work for your outer hips as well, but what makes it strong, I know I'm talking upside down, so what makes it strength-based is that you have to keep holding onto the block. And that sort of encourages your hips to create more stability and to create more power. So, if you want to up your game a little bit, you would go a little bit wider. So you have the inside edges of your feet, big toe and ankle sides of your feet holding on as close as you can towards your body. Okay, then you turn your knees out, the block is going to drop down, and then bring your knees back toward one another. Again, turn your feet out and bring your knees back toward one another. And you'll notice the block is shifted. I'm going to readjust it. Take your knees out. Oh, it's so hard. Bring your knees back toward one another. Maybe even see if you can get them to touch. Take your knees out. Keep holding onto the block. Bring your knees back toward one another. Last time, knees go out as wide as you can. Then bring your knees back toward one another. Grab the block. Whew, and let that go. Oh, and you're probably thinking, I don't think that I could do more than that, but you actually can, okay? And you can try to do it on the widest edge of the block, okay? And that's going to be the hardest one, because you have less to hold on to, because it's also the shortest side, okay? Now my block says practice on, and that is what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm going to encourage you to do too. So knees bent, take your knees out, take them wide. The block is going to drop down, no problem. Bring your knees back toward one another. Take your knees out to the side, and then bring them back toward one another. 3 more times. Take your knees out to the sides. And then squeeze the block with your feet, bring your knees back toward one another. Maybe even see, can you get your knees to touch? Bring your knees out to the sides. The block will drop. Bring your knees back toward one another. Oh my God, last time. Bring your knees out to the sides. The block is going to lower down. That's okay. Keep holding on. Bring your knees back toward one another. My legs are shaking. Grab the block. Whew. Roll to your side. Sit up. And that was 4 minutes, 4 minutes of work for your hips, making them a little bit stronger just using a block, okay? So I hope that you enjoyed that, and let me know what you think of that really fun, kind of crazy block exercise, and I look forward to seeing you back in the mat again really soon. Until then, bye.